This is Internet Business Mastery, episode 116.
In a world where bosses control your life and thoughts of escape fill your mind, where inspiration seems dead and cynicism rules the masses, you have a desire to break free. You feel the need to take control. Now, there exists a place where the secrets of freedom and wealth are given to those who believe. InternetBusinessMastery.com. Free your mind.
Hello and welcome to Internet Business Mastery online at InternetBusinessMastery.com. I'm Sterling.
And I'm Jay.
And we're here to help you escape the 9-to-5 and live the lifestyle of your dreams by turning your life's passion into a profitable internet business, even if you're just getting started today. And on this episode of Internet Business Mastery, we have the first episode of our Money Magnifier series. In this one, we talk about boosting traffic. And in the quick tip, we have a powerful new backup tool that we now use for all of our sites. And we'd like to remind you that if you'd like to get a jump start on creating your own profitable internet business using our proven system, you can claim your risk-free trial membership to the Internet Business Mastery Academy by going to freeaudiogift.com. So Jay, it's been a couple weeks. What's been going on?
Well, let's see. While you were gone at Disneyland last week,
Yay!
I was busy conquering the universe. And I did it, so...
well, sweet. Okay, guess we're
so
done.
So that's that.
Well, I had my first under 4-hour work week in years, so I finally did it. I think I worked 2 hours the entire week, just checking emails while I was waiting in line or something, just for fun. For fun! Okay, so what did you do in your conquering the world?
Well, one of the really cool things that I was just looking at email this morning, and it's so nice to have a really good bookkeeper to work with. And I was remembering that this is one of the very first team members that we hired. I mean, we've been working with her for a few years before we even hired any VAs in the Philippines or programmers or designers. Back when we might have, I can't remember if we hired our transcriptionist first or our bookkeeper first, but I don't know any entrepreneurs
about the same time.
Yeah, about the same time. I don't know any entrepreneurs that really love doing their books. So of course, just getting that task off your plate, and it really doesn't end up being all that much money to pay a bookkeeper just once a month to kind of update your books and send you a report and call it good. But recently, as you know, we've been having her do collections. Meaning, when we know that money is owed to us, and instead of having to always chase down checks and payments and things like that, she does it for us. And it's so nice just to get emails from her saying, hey, this payment's current. Oh, this money's here now. Okay, here, and I've gotten several of those in the last week, which is very cool. And then it's just awesome to see her kind of giving us projections of, here's where the business is going in the next few months. Here's what you can expect as far as expenses. And if you do this or that, then here's whether or not you'll go in the red or stay in the black or grow or stagnate. And it's just nice to have somebody else do all those numbers things so we don't have to worry about it.
I don't even know. What were we doing before? I'm already used to it. In a couple of weeks, I'm already used to it. I guess we were just winging it.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew, luckily with a membership site, you've got a general idea of what next month is going to look like. And then you add some, launches and stuff like that. Then I guess we just kind of considered those bonuses or it evened out. But now we can actually make real decisions, like long-term business decisions, knowing the exact numbers about everything. It's awesome. I love it.
So that would be, I guess, a recommendation I'd give to the listeners that, one of the earliest things you should add to your team, or at least people, is a bookkeeper. It's just a part-time thing. They probably spend a couple hours a month looking at your books. And for us, our bookkeeper is like $45 an hour. So when we first hired her, it was only $90 a month, and she, she just kind of kept up the basic books. Now, of course, now that we have her doing collections and all this other stuff as well, it's gone up to more than that. But, as your business grows, that's when you need some of those other things. But early on, at least, just you don't have to worry about the basic numbers. It's so important to know, at any moment, kind of the financial health of your business. that's definitely a team member that you want to look at early on. So there's a recommendation from our recent experience.
Finally. Thank you, Raquel.
And now, the features segment.
All right, so in the last episode, we talked about the 4 surefire ways to make more money online. And we talked about how when we get together and strategize and think about how can we take our income and our business to the next level, there are 4 questions we ask ourselves. How can we get more traffic? How can we convert more of that traffic into buyers? How can we retain more of our customers or increase the lifetime value of our customers? And fourth, we ask ourselves, well, how can we offer new value or new products to our customers and our following? So what we want to do now in this series, this Money Magnifier series, is go in a little more in depth into each of those 4 areas. And so in this episode, we're going to talk about how to generate web traffic. At the top of your sales funnel, we talked about this idea of the sales funnel and kind of a machine where traffic goes in and then things convert and move along through your email system and through your sales system, and out the other end comes the money. So clearly, if you put more traffic in the top, more money comes out on the other end. So in this episode, we're going to talk about 5 ways that you can boost that traffic into the top of your sales funnel. So the number one thing that we want to talk about here, and it's really the fundamental of how we started Internet Business Mastery, how we've made all of our money and generated pretty much the bulk of all of our traffic with Internet Business Mastery, which is why this is what we teach in such depth inside of the Academy, and that is content marketing. Content marketing is a fundamental thing. You know, if you had to ask me, you could only do one traffic strategy, for whatever reason, just hypothetical question of if you could only do one traffic strategy for your business, what would that traffic strategy be? Well, I think for me, it would be creating frequent and valuable content for my audience. I mean, this is again long been the lifeblood of our business, and also it's been how I've started every business that I can think of, going back to my beginnings as an entrepreneur. And in fact, thanks to content marketing, we've never once paid for a lead until now. Now, of course, actually this year we are putting into some other, looking into other traffic generation schemes and paying money and having paid traffic come to our site. But that's a good 5+ years that Internet Business Mastery has run and grown simply off of creating great, frequent, valuable content and getting it published and syndicated across the internet. And the nice thing about this is that, no matter what happens with Google, or no matter what happens with the flavor of the day traffic nifty thing, whether, that's Facebook or Twitter or whatever, just producing great content will always, always work and always attract traffic. Google is always going to treat your site well when you're creating great content. People go online looking for good content. They're looking to connect with other people. They're looking to get entertained. They're looking to get good information. And if you're helping people to, attain that need through your content, it's always going to work for you.
Yeah, the funny thing is when we started, and throughout the, last 5.5 years or so, we've heard so many different little traffic tricks. All these little, the big guys coming out going, oh, do this with Google and do this. And many of them, if not most of these tricks, have been slapped by Google. And that entire time we've been doing this content marketing to drive our traffic. Now suddenly, in the last year or so, all the big guys are going, ooh, content marketing, the new flavor of the day. And we're like, no. All those things that you taught that don't work now, those were the flavor of the day. We're still just doing the constant content and just simply chugging along doing this. And that's why, this is certainly number one. And this could be all 5. Because, it's like SEO. It does all sorts of things just by writing the content. And I, at first I was thinking, this might sound like a lot of work, constantly making content. But I assure you that once you get like a schedule going and you go, okay, I'm going to do, let's say, just as a complete example, 2 blog posts and 1 podcast a week and maybe a video or 2 a month. It'll be like clockwork, and you just get used to it as being a part of your business. And then the next thing is usually like finding ways to come up with content. That seems to be a big issue for people. But of course, in the Academy, we teach a bunch of ways of how to overcome that hurdle really easily. And I just wanted to possibly see if you would give one of those ways. What do you got?
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things that I whenever I get that question, I like to say right off is, think about the last time you were talking to somebody about your topic or niche. Just imagine you're sitting down in a coffee shop and they're like, oh, so hey, tell me about this macrame thing that you do, or tell me about buying and selling gold, or whatever the topic is that you want to do your niche and your site on.
Ooh, we got a new one. Buying and selling gold instead of just macrame.
I don't know why that came to my mind. Just popped in. So, just ask yourself, well, what are the 5 questions that I get asked all the time about this topic? The 5 most common questions. And then ask yourself, well, what are the 5 questions that I wish people would ask me, that they should ask me, but they don't know that they should ask? But this is, they're questions that need to be answered. Somebody who's getting started. And right there, you've got 5 plus 5. So you got 10 questions, and the answer to each of those questions is your first 10 audios or videos or blog posts, whatever the case may be. So that could get you through a couple months easily right there. And then, we've got like another 9 or 10 ideas about how to keep that content just easily churning out in a very streamlined and even automated manner through the system that we teach in the Academy. But that's a great place to start with that one little tip right there. All right, the number 2 thing that you should do for boosting your traffic is to track everything. One of the biggest mistakes, and a mistake that gets made every day by businesses with their marketing, is that they just kind of shotgun approach, like, hey, let's just try a bit of this and a bit of that, and we'll just hope that at the end of the quarter our sales have gone up 5 or 10%. And then in the end, if it does go up, then they're like, oh, great, I guess it worked, but they don't know exactly which one worked. For all they know, 80% of the things they tried actually cost them money, and then the other 20% made up the difference plus some. And if they had just known which 20% to focus on, then they wouldn't have wasted all that. They would have made even more money. So it's very important to watch your web stats to see where traffic is coming from. We use Google Analytics. It's free to sign up for and add to your site. And that lets you know what's working and what's not, so that you can do more of what's working, and so that you can let go of the stuff that's not actually producing results. And here's another little tip that we can throw out there too. Everyone, we've heard of affiliate programs which track, you can have other people promote your products for you. And so they have a link that they promote with. And whenever somebody clicks that link and comes through to your site and buys, your system keeps track of, oh, this came from affiliate John Doe, and so now I owe them a commission. Well, imagine if you just made 10 or 12 what we call internal affiliates. So we can create an internal affiliate that's called the podcast. We can create an internal affiliate called Twitter or Facebook. And so we always use that. You can always use that affiliate link on different channels or different sources of traffic that you have, so that when it comes down to actually getting purchased, a product getting purchased, you can look and see, well, where did this sale come from? Just like you would track it back to an original affiliate, you're just tracking it back to kind of an internal source of traffic. So that's another little tip that we can throw out there. So for instance, we're always mentioning, like freeaudiogift.com on the show here, and that gets forwarded through an internal affiliate link that tells us when a sale has come from the show, from the podcast. So there's an example of that. So the number 2 thing that we recommend is track everything, so you know what's working and what doesn't work.
Well, it actually reminded me, my grandma ran an advertising agency for about 20 years. It was just a business she started. And I remember one time we sat down when, maybe I'd been doing this internet business stuff a couple of years at that point. And it just suddenly occurred to me that the way she did marketing back then was she would pitch them stuff like, you need to make a TV commercial. And they'd go, okay. And then they'd put the TV commercial up and run it for however long, and she'd make whatever money off of it. And then basically I said, how do you track if that means anything? Yeah. That the print ad that you put in the newspaper, all the stuff that, people now would be like, what is that? A yellow pages ad or whatever. And she said, well, at the end of the year, if the business did better, then they basically considered that what we did. And I went,
they just
what?
Assume.
Yeah, they would just automatically assume that, oh, we did 20% better this year, or 3% or whatever it is. And they'd go, oh, it must be the advertising. And I was like, oh my gosh, like economically, it could be 20 different things that made that 20%, rise in the business. But she'd go, oh, well, we would obviously say, oh, look, it's clearly because of what we did. because they had no way of tracking it. It just blows me away. Just a complete side note. But that's not how we have to do it. We don't have to wing it like that and then just hope. And I just wanted to say that, tracking is not optional. Please don't think that. So let's say if you don't know what the conversion rate on your homepage is, how do you know if the opt-in is working? So someone might be happy thinking, oh, I'm getting 10 opt-ins a day. But if they know that they have 1,000 people seeing that opt-in every day and only 10 are actually opting in, they might not feel like it's working so well. They're thinking,
right.
Oh my gosh, look at all that traffic I'm losing that isn't, connecting to my site by opting in. But certainly with that traffic information, you go, okay, I've got 1,000 people coming to the site, only 10 are opting in. Now it's time to try a new opt-in bonus or some, change how it looks and start testing it so we can see what works better, so we can get more of those people to stay connected to the site. But you certainly wouldn't know that without tracking. I mean, I could go on and on about 1,000 things that you can very, very simply track. It's not like you're having to look at this stuff all the time. There's all these like automated services to do that and to help you know the direction of your business.
All right, so number 2, track everything. Number 3, the natural progression to that is do more of what's working. If blogging is working, try posting more often. If you're looking at, if you're like, hey, let's try doing 3 or 4 times a week and see how and then watch your traffic trend and see what happens. Granted, there is going to be a point of diminishing returns on that. At some point, it's like the difference between 6 times a week and 20 times a week might be nothing. Or so little that it's not worth all that extra work. But you don't know until you try. So, when we went from 2 show episodes a month to 3 or 4, we saw a definite boost in sales. And so that's why we've maintained, a little more frequent posting of our content. If you have a paid campaign like Google AdWords or something like that you're doing that produces a net positive profit, it makes me scratch my head when I hear that people going, oh yeah, I have a Google AdWords campaign that's working really well. And then you ask them something like, well, what do you have your budget cap set at? And they're like, oh yeah, I make sure it doesn't go over $50 a day because I think that's all I can afford. But if it's working, why would you need to cap it? If there's a net positive result and you know that from your tracking, well, don't you want to buy as many AdWords as you possibly can on that particular campaign?
Yeah, I'll trade $1 for $1.10 all day long.
Right, exactly. You may as well spend $1,000 if you know you're going to get $1,100 back. If it's net positive, just keep going. So by looking at your tracking, you can decide, okay, here's what's working, and we're going to try doing more of that. And that's how a business grows. As you see, you incrementally improve things, and then when you do see that something that's working, you take it to the max. So the 4th way to boost your traffic is to syndicate across new channels. So if you have good content and it's attracting new traffic, and let's say you've got it on your blog, you've got it in maybe iTunes or a couple blog directories, well, why not see what other places you can get that content in front of your target audience? If you get in front of more people, you're going to attract more of those people and your audience is going to grow. So here are some syndication strategies you could consider. You can publish your audio or video show in iTunes. You can transcribe your episodes and post them on your blog. You can rewrite your transcripts and post them onto article directories. You could post your videos to popular video sharing sites like YouTube and Vidler and Vimeo and Rever and all these other sites like that. You could add slides to your audio show and then take that and post it inside of YouTube. You could break down your content into little 140 character tips and post that to Twitter and Facebook. So think of all these different places as search engines. And this really just scratches the surface. I mean, this is what the Traffic Attraction Formula coaching course was all about. How to take that great content that you're creating and now repurpose and re-syndicate it across as many channels as possible. So the 5th tip we want to bring up is it's 3 tips. It's how to get some fast targeted traffic. And so here are 3 ways that you can get more targeted web traffic starting right away, even today. The first way we'd suggest is to go out and guest post on other blogs that are related to your topic.
Speaking of which, we're actually taking submissions for people who have any sort of specialized knowledge in, let's say, traffic generation or any of the internet business fields for our blog. So, if you want to get started with number 1 right now, and you actually happen to know how to do article marketing really good and want to talk about that or anything to do with internet business, you should shoot me an email.
you can contact us at support@internetbusinessmastery.com if you're interested in guest posting on our blog.
Bam! What to do, and there's one you can do right away, as long as your topic isn't macrame, because what we can't use that.
As much as we personally love macrame, it's just not the right fit for our blog.
Not for our audience, no.
All right, number 2 thing to get fast targeted traffic is to arrange with a joint venture partner for them to promote your site in exchange for commission on sales. So let's say you have your first product and you want to get some quick sales, but you don't have a huge list of your own. Well, see if you can find somebody that has, already a following, maybe 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 people that they'd be willing to promote your product to them. And, some people, when they're getting started, they'll even give away more than, the usual percentage would be like 50% commission for each of the sales that they get for you. But if you really want to get a jump start and want to entice people, sometimes offering 75, 80% of the money to that joint venture partner is worth it, because you got to remember, you're gaining list members, you're gaining a list of buyers of your own customers and attracting people to your product in that way. So even if you got to give up a lot of the commissions early on, that's still a great way to get fast targeted traffic. And then the third way you can start getting traffic right away is to pay for Google AdWords. And our recommended course for learning how to do AdWords, the course that we use to learn about AdWords early on, this is the guy that everybody turns to for AdWords, is Perry Marshall. And you can get that course by going to internetbusinessmastery.com/AdWords. All right, so there you go. There's 5 ways to boost your traffic and hence your income, make more money online. And so just to review, number 1 was have a fundamental content marketing strategy. Number 2 is track everything so you know what's working. Number 3 is do more of what's working. Number 4, syndicate your content across new channels. And then number 5, we gave our fast targeted traffic ideas. Guest post on other blogs, find joint venture partners that'll promote for you in exchange for commissions, or learn how to use Google AdWords, because that's something where with some money, if you've got some money to put down, you can start getting traffic today. And again, our recommended course there was go to internetbusinessmastery.com/AdWords for Perry Marshall's course on excellent course on how to get paid traffic with AdWords. So that's the first in our Money Magnifier series, and the next installment in the series will be all about how to convert more of your traffic into buyers. All right, this episode's breakthrough comes from Suzanne Sadler, an Academy member, and she wrote in and said, "My breakthrough this month was breaking a large and complex interactive learning environment project down to producing a minimal, viable product first. This move helped with the overwhelm and inaction that plagued me for the past 2 years. Also, I get to hear from my early adopter audience before investing lots of effort in the wrong direction. I listened to Sterling and Jay's podcast and joined the Academy to help me get productive with this MVP initiative. It's great to be in the company of like-minded people." That's a really good tip, actually, that Suzanne puts out there. A lot of people, I know I can, and my perfectionism kicks in and I can get in this cycle of feeling like, I got to make it just perfect before I put it out there. But, there's a couple things that I try to remember. She asked herself, she mentioned this minimal viable thing. It's kind of like, well, what's the minimum thing that's viable that the minimum I have to get done so I can put something out there that I can actually sell or that people can actually use. And, if you try to spend all that time getting it perfect, your idea of perfect might be in an opposite direction of what actually your audience would really like in the end. And so that's why by getting the minimal viable thing out, then you can start getting feedback and make sure that your audience helps you to pull it in the right direction, rather than, doing months of work, putting it out there and finding out that you actually missed the mark altogether. And in all that time, you weren't providing value to your audience and you weren't making money either. So that's a really great tip that Suzanne mentions in her breakthrough there, and we're happy she found the Academy useful and helpful in making that process work for her.
Yes, Suzanne, thanks so much for telling us about breaking your large and complex interactive learning environment project down. That's a mouthful. I had to just say it. Thanks, Suzanne.
It's time for the Internet Business Quick Tip.
So in the past, we've talked about a plugin that we use. It's critical to use on any WordPress site, called WP Backup. And, it's a very handy tool because it backs up your database. So the database is the part of your whole WordPress site that holds all of the posts and comments and, everything that basically makes your site run. And so if you want to avoid any of those tragedies of suddenly losing all of that content, all of those comments, all the stuff you've built up over months or years, then it's a good idea to have your database all backed up. However, the thing that plugin does not do is actually back up all the rest of the WordPress files that run your site. Now, you could rebuild all that from scratch using the database if you wanted, but it'd be much easier if you just had all of those files backed up as well. So there's another handy plugin that we have started using on our sites called Backup Buddy, which makes it really easy to back up all the files on the site as well. So if you'd like to check that out, that's our quick tip for this episode. You can go to internetbusinessmastery.com/Backup Buddy.
Now, if you'd like dozens of other resources such as this one, you can find them in the Internet Business Mastery Academy, along with video tutorials showing you exactly how we use them. To get a 30-day no-risk trial membership to the Internet Business Mastery Academy, visit freeaudiogift.com. That's it for this episode of Internet Business Mastery. Until next time, we wish you ultimate success in your internet business.
You've been listening to the iconoclasts of the 9 to 5 and the purveyors of freedom and fulfillment, Sterling and Jay. Sterling and Jay invite you to discover one of their most popular audio programs ever. The 3 Pillars of Designing Your Ultimate Internet Lifestyle. Visit freeaudiogift.com now and sign up for the free weekly Internet Business Mastery email newsletter. And you'll get instant access to this life-changing audio presentation, pulled directly from the content of the acclaimed Internet Business Mastery Academy membership community. Go now to freeaudiogift.com. Internet Business Mastery. Free your mind.